Well, it's been a day now and we have officially been introduced to arguably one of the greatest chapter launches in Fortnite history, Chapter 6 Season 1. And it has been so long as somebody has been playing since the OG days, man. It's crazy that we're already in Chapter 6, but it is fantastic. I'm going to give my first impressions, and then of course, guys, as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. And we're going to take a look at a bunch of player and creator reactions over from the Explore page on Twitter. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's talk about the brand new season. So, if you guys have been following the channel, I was very worried about the launch of Chapter 6 because I was, long story short, I was thinking that they were going to continue with the trend about Chapter 5, but literally, and I think literally everything is near perfect right now. The movement's great, and I don't know if this is the experience for other people, but the game didn't have any bugs, it wasn't lagging, it wasn't stuttering. For me personally, again, I know it might depend where you were, but the game was working flawlessly. I haven't visited the entire map, but the map is beautiful. I love the idea that we have mountains in the middle. The battle pass is fantastic. The hit scan's great. The UI, they didn't screw up the locker. That's why I didn't make presets the entire month, because I was worried about them screwing up the locker again. But everything is great right now. I love it. First of all, the hit scan is something that I've been waiting for the entire time. I can finally enjoy gunplay again, and enjoy gunplay I have so far. But the loot pool's fantastic too. I love all of the masks. I love the powers. I love the sword. The sword is so much better than the kinetic blade. So much better. I love all of the movement we have, the little shrines. I haven't run into the things that act like medallions yet. I don't recall what they are off the top of my head. Are they called sprites? Could be wrong. Doesn't matter. You guys know what I'm talking about. The bosses are cool. I haven't visited everywhere on the map, but again, I'm getting a little bit off topic. I think with all of the weapons in the loot pool right now, plus I'm enjoying myself fishing again because we got confirmation from Cypher PK that the mythic goldfish has never been vaulted, so I'm officially back on my mission to capture that mythic goldfish. It's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I feel like Chapter 6 is going to be the time where I end up doing that. But just the powers in general, and I have this issue in the season where I have to think about like, ooh, do I want this? Do I want that? That's a fantastic issue to have. I always have said that when the loot pool is so good that you have to worry about and think about what you would actually like to pick up. And I'm even having that issue with ARs so far. I even want to pick up an SMG, and I'm somebody who doesn't necessarily run SMGs in my loot pool typically, unless it's the burst SMG. I do like that one, but you get the point. The loot pool's great. From what I've seen about the map, I haven't visited it all yet, but I can't put my finger on it exactly what it is. It still seems to have that Chapter 5 look to it, but better. I don't know if it's the colors. I don't know if it's the vibrance. I can't really put my finger on it, but I love the diversity that I've seen around, whether it's a foggy forest, whether it's just a POI, like even just the structure in all of these POIs are well designed. It's not like Chapter 5 or even like previous chapters where they're just reusing a bunch of assets. They're carefully structured, and not only that, all of the Easter eggs, storyline, all of the different things that you can find within the map, whether that's just artwork on the wall, whether that's a store and a burger costing this much. The attention to detail is second to none. Like, I am having an issue right now because every chapter launch I've had so far that I think I've liked, this has some serious potential to end up being an S tier season. But that's just the beginning. Like, even on the map too, the train isn't improved. Now, it isn't improved in the sense that we can still go in the train. I don't know why Epic Games is not improving the train in that sense, but I actually kind of like that it's in a smaller rotation now around the map because you can run into it more often. I like that it's faster. I like that it slows down and stops for a second. I like that you can continuously hack the chest. I just found myself having a little bit more fun with the train than I typically have been. But the map looks beautiful. The graphics are great. The battle pass skins are awesome in my opinion. I'm doing my best to not get overly invested in the Fortnite storyline right now in case nothing really comes from it, but there are a lot of fun storyline secrets even right now, man. I'm very, very excited about the potential for this entire season, and we don't even have Godzilla yet. We don't even have Demon Slayer yet. The stuff that's going to come is probably going to be fantastic, man. I've enjoyed every single chapter launch. I've enjoyed Chapter 2, 3, 4, except 5. 5 was okay. 5 was the only one where I could sit back and say, okay, that launch did not match up to the rest of them. But the problem was, Chapters 2, Season 1 I enjoyed. 3 and 4 had fantastic launches, and they ended up being fantastic seasons. I'm having an issue saying that this is going to be the best launch that we've ever had, but everything's worked out so far. I've loved everything about it. The game is in a fantastic state. We have OG coming, Reload still around, and now I'm going to actually have to sit down and say, what do I want to play, because Chapter 6 seems to be so good right now. My only worry is that everything is going to get nerfed to the ground. I'm worried about that. People are going to complain about the void. People are going to complain about the bosses. I don't know what it is. Like, even the bosses look good. The attention to detail, little effects, no matter what you're doing, is fantastic on this map. And I haven't even touched on the new mechanics. I personally haven't tried Simple Ending yet. I want to take some time and actually like dedicate some time to myself in a practice map doing that, but I haven't played around with it yet. I don't think it's gonna have any issue within the competitive community, but I don't know. I can see the regular editing being faster than that. It's just a little bit of a boost for new players. The new movement will be a little bit difficult to get used to, and not like the animations. I mean, first of all, I didn't even notice until people said that there were different animations. But secondly, I can't remember what it is, like the wall running, the wall climbing, and the roll and the jumping off the ledge. I played around with it just a little bit, but I haven't really played around with it enough to have a hard opinion on it. So far though, so far so good. It's going to get very difficult to want to use the wall climbing and the wall jumping, but I'm sure that will come within time, because it was very difficult back in Chapter 3 Season 2 to get used to the tactical sprint. Chapter 3 Season 1, well, sliding was a little bit easier to get used to, but you get the point. Like, all of the new movement, Epic Games, they've really knocked it out of the park. Even hurdling, I wish hurdling was back, but I've always enjoyed it, so I would imagine that I would enjoy this too. But it's not just about what I think, guys. These aren't just my first impressions, and those are just my first impressions. I'll be making a video and an update in about a week to see if everything that I'm still feeling is staying true to it. But let's take a look over the Explore page on Twitter to what a bunch of creators and players had to say about the season in general, guys. If you have been watching the video so far and you have not hit like or subscribe on the video, please do so, guys. Let's start off with Rylick over here. I've seen enough. This is the best map ever made. I don't want to say that yet. We've been playing on it for a day, but I am really like, I kind of want to agree with that. It's so good, and I haven't even visited every POI yet. I visited like have I visited anything on the right? Oh, I have. Okay, I've been around Shining Span, but there's been a lot where I haven't necessarily been around on the map. I've been around a lot in the middle and over on the left side. Regardless, the map is so good. Let's continue on to Jakey. Easily the strongest launch of a chapter. Literally everything about this season so far is perfect. Gonna get some sleep and run some more games in the morning. Glad to see it. Like, everybody is enjoying the season. How often do you see that? There's no war within the community, and not everybody's not complaining about overpowered and busted things so far. I'm sure that will come in time, but still, you know, it's a good season so far when everybody is unanimously loving it. Evanosaurus had this to say: it's kind of ridiculous that this is the 33rd season of Fortnite that I've worked on, and I wanted to share this, say thank you to Epic Games, man, like, because there is no team that does it like the Epic team. And I've said that about the Juice WRLD event too. They put a really nice tribute to him while we're on the topic. So these Epic devs are doing a really good job at what they're doing. Boop had this to say: people really forgot about what happens when you add red dot weapons with hit scan. Guess we'll find out. Of course, we have the Foundations assault rifle. The red eye was also a problem to a lot of people's eyes, but I will take this over any gun with bullet drop. The sniper should be the only one with bullet drop, and I still would like a hit scan sniper, to be honest with you, but I know. I grew up on Halo having my hit scan sniper. I was destroying people with it. Regardless, I believe that's going to happen. People are going to be upset. We're going to see some nerfs, but at the end of the day, hit scan is what the vast majority of the player base probably wants, and Epic Games ended up delivering on that, and that is why I'm personally enjoying the gunplay in Fortnite again. I haven't been able to do that the entirety of Chapter 5. I've been relying on mythics, avatar stuff, whether it's some melee item like the TMNT stuff. Even if I was at a disadvantage, I did not want to play with the guns with bullet drop. And if you happen to be new to the channel, it's not a lack of trying, it's not a lack of adapting. I did my best throughout Season 1 to enjoy the gunplay, to get used to it, but I just personally didn't. Let's continue on to a reply to Fortnite, actually. Fortnite posted this, and it was a new animated trailer for the new season, and I wanted to include what Denny said over here. I speak for everyone when I say this. We need an animated Fortnite series in this style. This looks insane. So Fortnite's been doing a really good job with the trailers for the season, introducing everybody to the new map, and it's given a little bit of Arcane vibes for me. And I have always said, man, like, Epic Games and their story, especially with what Donald Mustard cooked up, an animated series would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It's too bad Donald Mustard couldn't continue his story just doing something like that. Cyan had this to say, and I thought about Cyan once I saw a couple pictures of the graphics. How is this Fortnite? Wow. You see Cyan's happy about it. And this is what I'm talking about, man, because it still has that Chapter 5 feel to the graphics, right? But it's not like, I don't want to say realistic. I don't know how to put my finger on what I'm looking at right here. Like, it just looks better than Chapter 5. It just looks better. I've seen some beautiful screenshots about this entire game, but let's continue on. I love this if you guys haven't seen it, by the way. I'm not going to play the video for you, but Candy Wing had this to say, and this tweet got a ton of attention. This is not funny at all. This is very important to bring up because, of course, you have the no dancing sign over there. I didn't know that they added this, and hopefully we don't ruin the surprise for too many people, but if you dance at the no dancing sign, it flies you off the mountain and you die. I think that's an incredible touch, and it's those little tiny things that Epic Games does that really brings the map into play, and like, that's the OG stuff that we all fell in love with. Things like dying at the no dancing sign. We haven't seen a lot of this from Epic Games in recent times, and it's nice to see, and I hope that we find out more secrets about this down the road. Regardless, fantastic start, and it's another reason that you can really see that Epic Games is putting a lot of love and care into this map. Like I said, even the little details of the buildings, the art pieces, the chairs, every little detail that I've seen throughout this map so far is just amazing, from the memes to everything else. Like, I love it. So there was a reply to that as well, and Lurk had this to say about it. They finally adding fun stuff back to the game. Not saying the game ain't been funny. I just mean goofy stuff that they would do, that they would do and add from the Chapter 1 days. Excuse me. Yeah, that's exactly. It's one of the reasons why we all fell in love with Chapter 1. Epic Games had some silly stuff for us to play around like this. Random pianos on the map. Random, like, stupid death barriers. Things like that. I understand those were glitches, but you guys get what I'm saying over here. Let's continue on to Trickster and what Trickster had to say. It's amazing. The map is beautiful. I love the look of the map. Mixing it with Chapter 4, Chapter 5 graphics. 100% the best map we've had so far. Gameplay, I'd say it's pretty fun. The new mythics are great, and with the shotgun... Oh, I forgot about to mention that. With the shotgun one doing 200, everything about this chapter is a big W. I love that a mythic shotgun can do 200 damage. I love 200 damage pumps in general, but I do also love that a mythic really feels like a mythic. Still some work to be had on Epic Games' end over there, but still. It's a nice start, okay? It's a very, very nice start. Let's continue on to Twisty Chase and what he had to say. Feels like what Chapter 5 should have been. A nice mix of things that have worked while also feeling fresh and new. Very well said. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been worked, but there are also a ton of new stuff to play with right now. It's absolutely incredible. Atomic had this to say, the season is fun, cool. Some things are a little overpowered, and predicting that before Winterfest things will be nerfed to an unusable point. Also, I don't like how we have 4 passes. How am I supposed to buy them? They're too expensive for a brokey like me. Well, that's why I personally have the crew. I understand that not everybody can afford the crew, but it's officially become worth it, man. I also do believe, unfortunately, that things will be nerfed by the time Winterfest comes around. The assault rifle probably. I hope they don't nerf the distance on the Void Mask. Is that what it's called? The Minecraft Pearl. I hope they don't nerf the distance on it because I love the gameplay that's brought over here. Festive Adden had this to say, literally, how do you even... And of course, it just shows the state of Fortnite loading screens. They really cooked with the Chapter 2 Remix one, but then, unfortunately, we went back to a Roblox-y type one, right? It's just weird. There's so much Epic Games does great, but anything UI related, man, they just absolutely dropped the bomb. I was shocked, and that's why I said at the beginning of this video too. I was shocked that Epic Games didn't screw around with the locker again. I'm so excited I can make my presets again. But guys, we have a ton more tweets to take a look at. I just want to stop you for a second. As you guys know, I've recently started a family, and I have been working so hard on YouTube because one day I want my wife and my baby and my future children to end up living the life that my father ended up awarding to me. So I have been advertising my supporter creator code, and we've seen a little bit of boost in it, which I appreciate you until the end of time for. Like, every single little bit helps. So guys, if you do not have a supporter creator code you're using in the item shop, please consider using code Clen, especially if you haven't copped that battle pass yet. Every little bit helps, and thank you so much to those of you who are already doing it. It means the world to me. I see the little boost, and again, every single person using it helps. So thank you very much for listening, guys. Let's continue on to all of the tweets. Geo had this to say, loving it. The map, art style, bosses are also insane. Only thing I wish is that the weapons had a different design. They all have the same issue with Chapter 5 and look too similar to each other. I've noticed that actually, but I was also thinking like, okay, maybe it's just because the weapons are new. Regardless, if that's the issue that we have so far, I think it's a very good issue to have. Let's continue on to Courage and what he had to say. The Fortnite art direction this season is a 10 out of 10. Chapter 6 is fantastic. Best Fortnite weekend in a long time. Yeah, the whole weekend was really good with Fortnite, actually. And this is what I'm talking about. Look at these screenshots. I can't put my finger on it. Whatever they did to change up the art, I like it. I like it, and it still feels a little bit Chapter 5-y to me. Regardless, super cool. Let's continue on to Michael Struckman. The OG pass seems like a great compromise. Having a pass dedicated to reskins as opposed to highly priced item shop skins is a great way to handle the old battle pass issue. I can shut up about it now. No, I agree with this. This is a great compromise. I personally think this is the best way to go about it for both sides. We can all be happy with that, and it's in the crew now, which is really, really nice. Let's continue on to what Sizzo had to say. Overall, I give the season a solid 10 out of 10 in terms of first impressions. This season feels like a massive step in the right direction after going through Chapter 5. I love that Epic has shown that they've listened to the community and improved the gameplay overall with the addition of new movement mechanics and the return of hit scan. Also, I love how the game itself looks. The map looks so much more colorful than it did in Chapter 5, and it really makes the game return to that nice blend of realistic and also cartoonish style that Chapter 4 had. I'll stop right there. Like, I still do like Chapter 4's art style a little bit more, but again, is it just the colors? Regardless, I'd love for you guys to tell me in the comments. In my opinion, if Epic gave us a great Winterfest this year and also continue to make some of these types of innovations throughout Chapter 6, I can definitely see this chapter being one of the best chapters we've ever had. Not to mention, the new changes to both Fortnite crew and the inclusion of OG just gives the player base way more options and the crew being way more bang for your buck. I agree with all of that. And actually, speaking of the movement, there was something that I wanted to talk about really quickly with my first impressions. I've been thinking a lot about, of course, all the movement that we're getting, and I would imagine even with Demon Slayer coming, we're going to get a lot more movement with the katanas and the whatever they can bring. Like, I can imagine the kind of like dashes that they're going to be able to have, and it's going to be really colorful, really cool. There's a lot of movement right now, whether it's the katana, whether it's the medallions. It's escaping me again what's going on, but anyways, the void. I find that Fortnite, for me personally, is a lot more fun. The game feels a lot more smooth when there are many ways to move around the map. I also like the laid-back version of OG where things are a little bit more slow-paced, but I think I personally, and I've decided this recently, I have more fun when there's more options for movement. It's because I was thinking about all of the seasons and strictly gameplay-wise, what the best season is, and I might have to do a little bit more digging into that, but right now I do believe it was Chapter 4 Season 2. We had the AOT Mythics, Spider-Man, we had just great fast vehicles in general, we had all the force items where you were like jumping really fast, running really fast. I think that makes for a really fun Fortnite season. So this season has a lot of potential, but let's continue on to what Lit C had to say. The flow is magnificent. The biggest map of all time with zero issues getting around it. Unlike the previous biggest map, Chapter 2. Weapons are incredible, new movement is fluid and fun, sprites are adorable, genuinely already on track to being one of the best seasons of all time. Now, I did see those, and I actually, Lit, if you happen to be watching this video, it made me think of the chows, okay? But anyways, the way that you put it is the flow is magnificent. The flow of the game feels really good right now. That's a perfect way to put it. And that's kind of like how I was describing Chapter 4 Season 2, to be honest with you. We have a really good flow state with all of the different fights that you can have. Like, I love it, man. I love it. Carlo had this to say, absolutely amazing. I love the map. Although I prefer Chapter 5's overall shape, the graphics are gorgeous. The story is picking back up after Chapter 5 set it up, so I love to see that. Gameplay is amazing, POIs are fun, and the new features are insanely unique. Again, what could I possibly add to that? Extremely, extremely well said by Carlo. John Jones had this to say, a genuinely fantastic surprise. I haven't found anything wrong with it so far. Loot pool is peak, new movement is smooth and fun to use, bosses are an actual challenge, and hit scan is the cherry on the cake. Epic definitely cooked, and I'm excited to see what they have in store. Yeah, a fantastic surprise was that for me too, because I was losing hope for the game in Chapter 5. Wasn't thinking it was going to die or anything, but I was struggling to enjoy a lot of Chapter 5, and it ended up being more so about the people that I was playing with, and that's where I found my main enjoyment from. But right now, I'm actually really, really loving the game. I also haven't found anything wrong with it yet. And at this rate, I doubt that I will personally, but give the community a little bit of time on that because we know it's going to come. I wanted to include this one because I actually also found this, and this is a little bit worrying for future updates, but regardless, Lulo had this to say, Epic is working on a new BR weapon durability mechanic. We have a fantastic season right now. Everything's perfect. The community is happy. Let's not add breaking guns. I'm good. I don't need to see that update, and I'm sure that a lot of people wouldn't want to see that either, but let's continue on to DJ Starsify. Genuinely fantastic. I love how the map feels like a combination of all the past chapters. Bottom right being Chapter 2, top left being Chapter 4, etc. I got used to the guns pretty quickly. The movement is really fun and quick, and the graphics are phenomenal. And I apologize, I did not know there was a second part of that tweet. Sorry guys, my apologies DJ. But anyways, first part of that, insanely well said. I'm very, very sorry. Jojo Josiah had this to say, I'm fighting the urge to say that this is the best season of all time. I know, but there's like nothing wrong with it right now. Everything's been great. Graphics, guns, battle pass, everything that you can name about this, it's all not just good. It's all great, but the problem is we've been in it for a day. We can't say this is the best season of all time. Now, it is important for everybody, by the way, for those of you who do think it's the best season of all time, don't burn yourself out because we got a little bit until we get some brand new content, okay? Let's continue on to Zackelberg. I don't think there's ever been more of an upgrade between seasons. To go from remix to this is like going from eating a brick to sipping on fine wine, all right? So, yeah, this was a really good upgrade between seasons. I loved Chapter 2, and I still found a lot of enjoyment in it, but the problem was all of the bots on the map. And also, I've noticed that, I don't know if anybody else had this non-issue, but I don't know about anybody else's lobbies. My lobbies were good. I ran into very, very minimal bots, which is really good to see. And that's very important to me. I want to fight real players. Maybe they'll keep the bots for OG. I don't know. I imagine OG being absolutely riddled with bots, but regardless, yeah. For an upgrade between seasons, even if you want to talk about absolute doom to this, it is a massive, massive upgrade. Let's continue on. Mask of Void and the Tempest Blade are peak. Can't wait for the Kinetic Blade to be back and paired up with the Ultimate Movement. Yeah, that's true, actually. I forgot that was coming back. Not only the Kinetic Blade's coming back, but we have all of the Demon Slayer stuff that's yet to come. And we know that we're going to get some more blades with it, too. I love the way the blades were handled. I hope that also doesn't get nerfed because it's legitimately a good melee option. Typically, when we have things that are melee like the Kinetic Blade sucked in close range. The Shockwave Hammer was okay in close range, but it was way too slow. And I get that, like, you trade it for the movement, but still, I think the Tempest Blade is a very, very nice balance between everything. Let's continue on to what Caspi had to say. Where do I even begin? The guns are amazing. The map is amazing. Battle Pass is amazing. The movement feels amazing. This was the best launch of a new chapter. You can't convince me otherwise. I certainly won't argue with that. I definitely won't argue with that. I compare it to Chapter 3 and 5 and 2 so much. 2, 3, and 4. Why did I say it like that? Regardless. Let's continue on to what Pojo had to say. It kind of feels like Chapter 5 if it was more refined and better thought out. The concepts seem better executed and appear to be accessing their full potential and not just half-baked. So far, it's an absolute blast, and this might be just one of the best chapter launches. You can see that everybody is way, way happier with what Epic Games did. They're listening to the reasonable part of the community over here, not just everybody crying about the game. They've actually taken a lot of issues with Chapter 5, changed it all. So, in a way, it kind of does feel like Chapter 5, a little bit more refined, but very, very good. I love the way that everything's been executed. Everything's perfect. You could tell that they did some testing with this too. So far, so good, guys. You know what else was great, though? The last live event that we had. Not only that, but the Battle Pass, okay? They're all great. If you'd like to see my reaction to either of those two things, you can find them on screen right now. Thank you so, so much for being here, everybody. I hope you were enjoying the season. Take care, guys.